Okay, this is gonna be a full Tinder walkthrough. You're gonna learn how to take it all the way to the finish line, how to keep a girl invested, how to open the conversation, what not to do. And on top of that, you're gonna learn how to convey masculinity over text, which is honestly not the easiest thing to do. So I'm gonna put all this in one single example. You're gonna understand it exactly. Watch this video all the way to the very end. And other than that, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in self-development for men and dating. And drop me a like because it really helps me out. So without further ado, let's go. First of all, this is the girl's profile. She is really, really cute. And I think she's a little bit of a party animal. That's what she told me. She's got a banging body, really cute face, awesome personality. Texting can be hard sometimes, and you will see that this girl did not make it easy for me at all. But if you follow a couple of, simple rules, it's very easy and it will get you to the result. You will be able to stand out among, all the other guys out there. It's a matter of doing it right. So I just said, I like your vibes. I suspect you're pretty savage. I don't have the same opener for every girl, but that's what I went with. I just go with what I vibe. Mainly, you want to make sure that you're not saying something that most people are saying, something simplistic like hey or something like that, and something that shows that you could take it or leave it, and you're a cool guy. I think that in conjunction with a good profile, should do the trick. If that doesn't do the trick, the girl was probably not interested in whatever, hanging out with you or whatever. So I'm like, she's like, depends on the occasion. And then I went out on a limb. I actually did something very stupid, something super try hard, and it didn't really work. But then I was able to do some damage control later, and that was fine. So I said, occasion, I take you on a date to the tallest building. We have sushi. There's an explosion on the floor below, and you see a bunch of smoke billowing. What do? You savage. Okay, really bad messaging on my part. I don't know why I did that. I was just like, I can't remember why I said that, but this is not my standard MO. I think I must have been like doing something at the same time, and like I didn't really think of it, and I knew it was not a good idea, but I was like, who gives a shit? Let's just write this, because a lot of times, like I said about my opener as well, I go with what I vibe with at the moment, and sometimes it's suboptimal, but usually it's right on point. So she's like, obviously she didn't vibe with it. She's like, yeah, first of all, I don't like sushi, and so I'd be hungry. So I'd have already left before the explosion happened. And here's a couple of things that are important. Always know the subtext. Always understand what the girl's really trying to say. And here what she's saying is this. She's saying she's trying to figure out if I'm gonna have an objection with leaving her with an empty stomach and making her leave because I'll be eating the sushi. So she's framing it as somebody who is, I'm framing myself as like, oh yeah, I'm the alpha male and I will take you to the restaurant, I will feed you the sushi. And she doesn't vibe with it. And later on, my suspicions were actually confirmed, because this girl is very sensitive when it comes to like, the patriarchy like that. She's not like a full-on feminist, but she's definitely sensitive to these ideas. And I thought it was a good idea to maintain that and to make sure to respect that sensitivity. So, and then before I confirm and tell her that I am in fact the guy that would not leave you on an empty stomach and eat sushi, but would empathize and actually take you somewhere else, I say, before I do that, I want to tease her a little bit. And I'm like, oh, so you'd leave me over some dead fish? And she's like, well, I wouldn't starve myself just to stay and watch you eat. And I was like, I would never eat if my date had to starve herself. And then I also asked a question, what are you good at? And she's like, well, in that case, we could have left together to go eat someplace else and we'd survive the explosion. And I close with, bottom line, communication skills saved their lives. And she's like, no, I saved your life because I don't like sushi. You're welcome. And then I did something that's very, very smart. I was not eager to continue that conversation. I can just leave it, not answer. She's gonna be there in my inbox next morning. She's not going anywhere. Why not demonstrate that I can lay back, relax, and I don't need something to happen right now? This is the number one mistake that people do with Tinder, which is needing to do something right now, or needing to resolve something right now, or the interaction to resolve, or something like that. Needy. That's the problem. You're needy, so don't be needy. Usually, after matching with a girl, it is semi-rare that you're gonna have her come over that night. Like, that happens. I got other examples where that happens. There are cases of girls wanting to come through the same night, and that's fine. But don't have that be the majority of what you're trying to do. You don't need that to resolve right away. Have girls sitting in your inbox for like 2-3 days, maybe a week, and then try to get them out to meet them. Like, you don't have to hurry up. And on top of that, if you actually implement that, they're gonna be meeting a girl every day anyway, and it's not gonna be a big deal for an interaction to drag on and not resolve today. And girls are very sensitive to that, and when that happens, they're completely turned off instantly when they realize that you're pressing for something to happen. So lean back, relax, enjoy the conversation, and demonstrate the things that you need to demonstrate. So I reinitiate, and that was on Saturday, and that conversation was that I'm reinitiating 2 days later at 8 p.m. and I'm like, have you been naughty or nice? And an hour later, she says, describe naughty. I'm like, doing things you won't tell your mom about. I think that's a good line. That's an amazing line. You can steal it if you want. I came up with it in the moment, the spur of the moment. But I think it's a great thing. Like, doing things you won't tell your mom about. It could be sexual. It cannot be misinterpreted because, like, you're not saying anything bad. It can mean anything. It can mean like you ate a cookie, didn't you, or something like that, which is not very bad. But if the girl wants, she can take it sexual from there, and you can gauge. You can use that line to figure out where she's at. And she's like, there's so much I don't tell her about. Guess that makes me naughty. I'm like, okay. And then that's another critical point. She says, that makes me naughty, but she's also not overly sexualizing. There's nothing explicit still in the conversation. So right now, I have the possibility to take it one of two ways. One, to start riffing off of the naughty theme and figuring out how naughty she is and what she likes, which is something that I did figure out eventually. Or I am given the chance, because she's throwing me that naughty ball. It's balls on my court. I am given that chance, but I can choose to not take it. And what does that say about me? Right? So I lean back. I'm like, I wish I knew what you like and what you are like. You seem peculiar. And now, it is only now, after so much conversation, that the girl, this particular girl with this history, this brain, this idiosyncrasy, for the first time in that conversation, is in fact engaged. Now I got her attention. Now everything I say has gravity. Before that, I could have said anything. But the couple of actions that I took, choosing to not go the naughty way, or demonstrating that I don't have to rush things, or demonstrating that I am in fact sensitive to, not having my date starve over me having my preference, sushi at this point. Now we can play. So she's like, I'll take that as a compliment. Ask away. And now we're starting to playing the back and forth like question game. Favorite movie? There's so many. War is one of my favorite. Pride and Prejudice is one. Yours, I'm like, got a couple. Best one is The Matrix. If you haven't seen The Matrix, go watch it right now. There's a bunch of like different layers to that movie. It's my favorite movie of all time because of that reason. And now I'm qualifying her. Now I'm starting to understand her. Now I'm demonstrating that I'm interested in getting to know her and what's in her brain, which is very important. And she's like, we chat back and forth, chit chat a little bit. She basically grew up in church, giving me information about her life. I grew up an atheist. How was that? I do not answer that question for another day. That's another good move. She asks a question right when she's engaged. That is so key. She's engaged, asking a question. If you stop right there, make the conversation, force the conversation to take a break and revisit the conversation a day later, 8 hours later, that gives you, that demonstrates that's a good vibe. That demonstrates that you're in control of this. That's masculine energy. That is how you utilize, that's how masculine energy comes across on text. It's things like that, right? We're talking about church. How was that? I grew up atheist, which I did. And now, like the tables have turned. I believe in God in a way. I believe in consciousness, put it that way. We chat about that, blah, blah, blah. So, are you a creative person? What's your outlet? She's like, boxing is my outlet. I'm like, that is sick. I've been looking to get into boxing. I think that is my way in. That's my foot in the door. And I'm like, she's like, boxing, I recommend this, blah, blah, blah. What's your hobby or job? I have to qualify myself here just to make sure that I'm a real person. I do digital marketing, so blah, blah, blah. Yo, we should hang out sometime. And you can teach me how to jab. That is a general agreement that sometime we should hang out. Like I said this in another video, that's very important. Before you make solid plans, just introduce the idea of generally hanging out to gauge how the girl would respond to such an idea. She's like, yeah, we could do that. We could do that. I taught boxing to beginners before. Now I could take offense in that. I could go like, yeah, I don't let a girl teach me boxing as a beginner. Fuck you. And that girl would have been very sensitive to that, or even to a joke about that. That is very dangerous territory. Luckily, I don't have my ego invested like that, so of course, I would let anybody teach me boxing as a beginner. I'm like, what's your schedule like the next days? Tomorrow the weather's gonna be amazing. She's like, yeah, I think I'm available tomorrow. Yeah, perfect. Let's meet at noon. Making the moves, making it happen as a man. Don't expect from the girl to set this up, to take the burden of setting this up. It's your job. Please do that. I'm at this area. I'm like, oh, good neighbor game. I'm at that area. And like the last check is like, oh yeah, just I don't want to be rude. Let's exchange social media. So I'm not getting catfished. So I'm like, yeah, okay, here's my social media, blah, blah. Follow me so I can see your account. That's another important thing. When you give a girl your social media, make it explicit to ask her to give you her social media, because it's only fair. Because if you don't do that, they're gonna spy on your shit and you're gonna not see her social media. So that gives her a leg up. That's a mild disrespect. It's like a mild boundary. If you have my shit, it's only fair that I have your shit. So, exchanged information. She sees my Instagram, so I'm like, are we on for tomorrow? I see her Instagram, I'm like, apparently you're also a real person. She's like, yeah, okay. All right, perfect. I'll see you tomorrow at that location, noon. She's like, what time is noon? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Another important bit here, after you make the plans, don't stop the conversation. That is another amateur mistake. Don't stop the conversation. Just keep speaking, keep vibing. There's no reason to stop the conversation. Don't be cheap in terms of giving energy into the conversation. You have so much energy. Give it away for free. Invest in the conversation, invest in the vibe. Keeping the banter going, if she's a night owl or a morning person, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to bed soon. You know, still maintain some chit chat, and that's on the next day. At the very end, she's like, I'm there, I'm sitting on a bench. I'm like, oh, I need 5 minutes, I'll be 5 minutes late. And I'm wearing gray shorts, so you recognize me. That is when I actually ran into her. I found her on a bench. She was listening to music. It was a very chill, you know, vibe. She stood up, I gave her a hug immediately, consolidating that, you know, this is normal, I'm a real person. There is no awkwardness here. There is no reason to feel any kind of way about this. I think this is fun. We go, you know, into the next location. It was an open air location. We practice boxing. She teaches me the first, you know, like fundamentals of boxing, and I start learning how to jab. I don't question her authority. I don't give off vibes of being like anti-feminist or feminist or any kind of ist. It's like very, very simply two people having fun, learning a skill. And there was respect, there was, we were both in the zone, having fun. And after that, after like an hour and a half of practice, we're like, I'm like, okay, my brain is fried, I've learned so much today, I don't think I can intake any more information. Let's go have a coffee. We continue, you know, into the area where I live, go by a coffee house, chit chat with a coffee, with a barista there, you know, like being social and stuff like that. It was very nice, and the walk naturally led to my place. Maybe a gentleman never remembers, let's just put it that way. I'll just spare you the graphic details, but it's a girl that I vibe with. We had an amazing time. I still keep seeing her, and that's about it. There's not much more to it. I hope you learned a bunch of cool stuff in this video. I hope you were able to resonate. That was a lot of information. Make sure to click the subscribe button below if you made it to the end of this video, because I respect that. And other than that, there is a free training down below in the comments and in the description. Grab it if you're somebody that's interested into dating through authenticity and creating your relationships and seduction and courtship with authenticity, and or generally into self-development for men. Other than that, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.